This is the Lewinner wireless lavalier microphone. Let me tell you what I like so much about it, things that I think could be improved, and what I think you should do if you're going to buy it to get the most out of it. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. If you're new here, we do how-tos and reviews on both tech and tools, as well as just talk about those things, including news from those industries, and sometimes we'll make a quick video about a deal if we find one. I'm excited about this because I was looking for something like this a little while back and there just wasn't anything out there at the time. As a YouTuber, this thing works great in my situation. Before we get too far into it, I want to let you know that Lewinner did send me the money to buy this thing, but they didn't send me any extra, so they just sent me enough to purchase it and go through the whole process by myself so I could get the full experience of being their customer. As always, no one controls what I say, and I'll give it to you straight, the good and the bad. Let's talk specs and setup and do some sound testing. But first, let's take almost exactly 1 minute to unbox this thing. So as you saw in the unboxing, it comes with a USB-C charging cable. It comes with this little dead cat, also known as a windscreen or a wind muff. You flip the case open, and these just pull out. Then they get sucked right back in with a magnet. The case snaps closed with a satisfying click, similar to what you'd find on AirPods. You can see that the light is blinking green. That means that it's ready to pair. We take the receiver. I usually stick it with this bump that's sticking up towards the front. That's where the light will be. Plug that into the bottom of the iPhone. Once they both turn solid green, it's connected. You're ready to go. That's all there is to it. I want to warn you ahead of time that the volume might sound like it's going up and down in this video because we're testing different microphones. The microphone is a lapel style microphone, which is great for YouTube because you just clip it on your shirt and you're done. When you're talking about microphones, you'll get the best sound by getting the microphone as close to your sound source as possible. That way, the voice is louder in comparison to all the background noise. If you're outside and there might be some wind, all you have to do is slip this over top of the microphone. This fuzzy patch breaks up the wind so it doesn't make a bunch of racket in the microphone. Alright, to compare sound quality, I'm about 5 or 6 feet away from the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and this is the internal microphone. Alright, this is the Lewinner microphone, same iPhone, just this is hooked up. Okay, I've backed up a few feet, and here's the internal microphone on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Alright, now here is the Lewinner microphone, again, same iPhone, just this microphone is hooked up instead. Alright everybody, there's a furnace right above the camera, and I'm about 5 or 6 feet from the camera talking pretty loudly, and you can probably really hear that furnace. Alright, the camera is in the same spot, and I'm in the same spot, but now I have the Lewinner microphone on, so you can hear me a lot clearer compared to the noise of that furnace. This is what the internal microphone on the iPhone sounds like from 8 or 9 feet away with that furnace right above the iPhone. Okay, this is what the Lewinner microphone sounds like 8 or 9 feet away from the camera. Let's talk about the pickup pattern. When you're looking at microphones and you want to know how it's going to sound before you even buy it, one of the things that you can do is look at the graphs that they have with it. One of the graphs is called the pickup pattern. Lewinner sent me a graph that shows the pickup pattern for this microphone. To show you how to read it, I thought that I would use this style microphone to demonstrate. You're probably already familiar with when you go to speak in this microphone, you're speaking into the end of it. This is referred to as an end address microphone. Alright, the 0 and the 180 got cut off in my printout, but you get the idea. You take the end that you would normally be speaking into and point it towards the 0. You have that in the center, and these lines represent the strength of the pickup in that direction. So as you could see, if this was this microphone, it picks up stronger towards the front than it does in back, which is good. If you're speaking into it and you have some noise going on over that way, you don't want the background noise being picked up as strongly as it picks up you. In the case of the Lewinner microphone, I believe we are speaking into that grill right above the green light. So we'd stick it in the center of the graph. And it's the same principle. You can see that the lines are much farther away from the microphone here than they are here, which means it's going to pick up a lot more in front than it is in the back. This microphone is what would be referred to as a cardioid pattern microphone. Alright, so you can see how that cardioid pickup pattern plays out in real life. Let's demonstrate the directionality of this microphone. So right now I have it aimed towards my voice. I'm going to turn it to the side. Alright, it is facing about 90 degrees to me. And now I'm going to move it, and now it's facing exactly the direct opposite. The back of the microphone is facing towards my mouth. So I'm going to turn it again, so it's facing the other way, and we'll move it all the way back around so it's facing me again. So there should be a considerable difference between right now with it facing me and now with it facing away from me. Going back and listening to that, I couldn't hear much, if any, difference between the microphone facing away from me or towards me. So to my ear, it sounds like an omnidirectional microphone, which means it picks up evenly in all directions. Another graph that you might see when you're looking at microphones is a frequency response graph. It would look something like this. This gives you an idea of how much bass, mid-range, and treble is going to be in this microphone. There wasn't a graph available for this microphone, but its frequency response is from 20 Hz to 20 kHz. And to my ear, the graph might look something like this. So I would say that this microphone is on the bright side and is going to work really well for vocals. Alright, so there's this thing called noise floor, and what it is the microphone and the electronics associated with the microphone produce a little bit of a noise, usually a hum or buzz type of a noise. It can sound different with different microphones and different preamps. I'll be silent here for a second so you can hear what this one sounds like. Alright, I want to demonstrate the proximity effect on this microphone, and that is when you get closer, things tend to get a little more bassy. So as I hold the microphone out here, it probably doesn't sound quite as deep and bassy as I move it closer and closer. So right now, you're probably hearing more of the low end of my voice. This mic has noise cancellation built in, so it seems to work really well in noisy situations, as you could tell from the test with the loud furnace running. One of the things that I really like about this microphone is that it works really well with my gimbal. A gimbal holds your phone steady as you move and walk around. And I find it doesn't work very well if it has to fight with a cord. Because this thing has such a small receiver that's wireless, it works great. So my overall thoughts on this thing. I think it's perfect for someone who has an iPhone and wants to get started making a YouTube channel, a vlog, or even if you're just using Zoom for work. There's no rigmarole with having to pair with Bluetooth. There's no apps that you have to download. And the charging of just dropping it in the case and having it charge is really convenient. I like that the charging port on the bottom of the case is USB-C and not some proprietary thing or the old USB micro. Not only is it technologically superior, but it's a lot more convenient. There are a few things that I think that they could do to make this thing even better. First, although the noise cancellation works really well, I wish there was a little switch to turn it off when you don't need it. Because when you're in a quiet environment, you don't necessarily need that noise cancellation and you can hear it. So I would rather just be able to turn it off when I don't need it. One feature that I think would be really cool if they could add it would be wireless charging to the case. If I could just plop this down on a wireless Qi charger, that would be awesome. Also, this is kind of nitpicky at this point, but the case doesn't have room for this windscreen to go on the microphone and close. But then again, that's an optional accessory that you might not always need. So I guess maybe that's a little like complaining that the trailer that you bought to tow won't fit in the back of your truck or SUV. So a couple tips for using this thing. First of all, it seems very sensitive, and if you have a really loud voice, you might want to have it lower on your shirt. If you have a soft voice, you might want to have it higher. Another thing I would recommend is that you don't want to hide this behind an object, you don't want to have it behind a desk or under a bunch of layers of clothing. You would probably want to have it clipped on your shirt or your coat that's on the outside. Because it works on a 2.4 gigahertz frequency, and that frequency can be inhibited by walls or other objects in its way. But I'm not going to be typically recording with my camera pointed at a blank wall and me on the other side. I thought I should mention that, even though I've been using it in multiple situations and I haven't had it cut out once. I do wish that you could control the gain, and I do wish that they'd put a switch on there to turn the noise canceling on and off, but the big question is, how do you like it? How do you like the way this sounds right now? So do I recommend it? Definitely. I don't want to give you the impression that it's going to compete with a big old $700 Sennheiser mic a few inches from your face on a boom pole. But for the wireless convenience and the price, this is hard to beat. If you compare this to a Rode Wireless Go, which doesn't include the microphone, if you have to buy a microphone to use with it, you're going to be spending almost 3 times as much. And this charging case is really handy. I like that you don't have to swap out AA or AAA batteries. If you have any questions or any situations you want me to test this in, let me know in the comments. I'd love to talk to you down there. I want to thank Lewinner for providing this microphone, and I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. When I was a kid, I used to love playing with magnets, and I remember putting paper clips on top of the table and being able to move them around with the magnet, and it almost just seemed like magic the way they work. Also, I know it's a small thing, but even their box has that nice little magnetic click. I love magnets. So to me, that means that care even went into the packaging. I don't want to give you the impression that it's going to compete with a 700 Sen. The case snaps closed with a satisfying clip similar to what you'd find on AirPods. Oops, I had my finger. You probably are. Alright, so there's this. There's this thing called. This is the Lewinner wireless Lavaliere.